Which one is bad? Stick around, you'll get to find out. Well, I got some more stuff to do on this Edelbrock carburetor, but as you can see, we got the 4-letter S word coming around, and we're going to be testing out the structural integrity of my new carport. A couple more tricks I want to do on this. Oh, new project, so I went and picked that up, and I'm working on Project Phoenix in the garage. If I can get you held up there steady. A little cool out right now, not horrible, but yeah, this is pretty much work stoppage for this week. So, see when it warms back up. Well, I might survive this. I don't know. Let's go look at the carport and the cars. Yeah, it doesn't come out. Did a little bit of shoveling here. At least to there, and then, you know, it kind of got old right about this point. I didn't want to do it anymore. Carport 1 looking pretty good. And carport 2 looking pretty good. So I guess this whole carpenter thing, and I guess I've done an acceptable job because it works. Well, the Ramcharger moved from his previous home, not under its own power. I was doing test drives and the ignition system died. I don't know what component. It's getting cold right now. It's like 20-something degrees and 10-15 mile an hour wind, so not fun outside. All the 4-letter S word is pretty much gone though, so that's good. Okay. Let's start by testing power 2, or ignition box, which is the blue wire with the yellow stripe on mine, on this kit. So I have the my little clamp up in there, and I'm grounded, and I went ahead and touched the hot to the battery right quick to make sure that it is a good ground. Now I also have the starter solenoid disengaged because I don't care if the starter turns over or not. I just want to see if I got power going to that box. And start, or crank, and then run. So I'm going to go ahead and get the key in, maybe. So I do not have power there, nor there. Alright, connector connected better, like actually to the terminal. Okay, try this again. And power to the box in run, and in crank. Okay, so the box is getting power. So let's check to see if we got power to the coil, and same thing, in crank and in run. Okay, same thing, checking the coil. Run has power. Crank has power. Okay, what we just did was to see how long I can sit outside at 24 degrees before I get cold. I mean, what we did was we checked our wiring to make sure everything's getting hots that need hot. So now we need to start seeing if what component is bad. We can check the resistance on the coil. We can also pull that box off, and I think there's a pin out check on that as well. And then the final thing is pulling the distributor. I'm saving it for the last because it's climbing all the way up in and pulling it and marking the timing and all that, right? Okay. Set your little beepy thing. So we have continuity. And we can't have continuity. So let's see exactly what we got. We're going to put it on 2K. Dial her back a little bit. It's trying to fall. So we're at about 1.4, 1.3, 1.2, 1.1 resistance across the primaries. All right, I'll need to go look that up for the blaster 2 to see if that's good or bad, but it's not open, so I'm not thinking the coil's bad in its state, but coils like to heat up and go back too, so might take a little bit more checking on that. All right, now that it's mid-40s instead of mid-20s, we're going to try this again. So we are connected to pin 5, which is actually the black wire with the yellow stripe, which goes to the coil. So we're connected the box to there, and we're going to come over here to ground, so you should have continuity. So the box, according to that test, is good. Okay, I'm going to do a bench check because I think we can see this a little better. We're going to check out the distributor to see if the pickup coil is doing what it's supposed to do. So the pickup coil is your, yeah, there's a junky one. It's our little hoo-yah thing right there. And as the reluctor spins around, it sends a signal. So we're going to see if we can check that. Get that set right there. Yeah, brought this outside and the plastic broke because it's just been cold. So we have continuity there. See how it goes up and down as it passes one? So that tells me that that's working. So there it is. We're stable. And as the tooth comes up. Okay. So that's what I'm going to go check on the truck. When it warms up, oh my goodness. Oh, it's so cold in the shop right now. It's been right at freezing in the shop for the last couple days, and it's just everything's cold. Concrete's cold, so heater's on. We're 40 right now. I'm supposed to get up to 44, so I'm gonna try to get everything heated up because I think we're coming out of the ice age. But that's how you check that. Now to simulate, this is a bench test. So what we're going to do is actually hook this up on the wires in the truck and then just turn it over, like hook up the starter wire back and then turn it over, and we should see that pulsing action going on there. And that tells us the pickup coil is working on the distributor. The other thing, here's my coil wire. I'm about to do a continuity check on it right quick to see if it is blown up. Yeah, I had an alligator clamp for my ground terminal and it disappeared yesterday or whatever. That seems like a whole lot of ohms in there. I think we might have a burnt coil wire here. Let me fiddle with these and see if I can get that better. Yeah, I snuck inside for this one. So we measured 1,800 ohms, and that's about, I don't know, a foot, maybe a foot and a half. 1,800 ohms is the resistance on my ballast resistor, right? So that's an indicator. So I'm looking at a street fire wire, which is a pretty good wire set, is 500 ohms per foot. So that should be, I mean, it's 18 inches, but you know, it should be, that would only be 1,000, so 1,800 is quite a bit. So I think that's the problem. I'm going to see if I can get another coil wire and put on there and see what we get. I might also pop the cap off the distributor and just kind of take a peek down inside there, but everything else seems to work. And then the other thing, I do need to check the distributor, make sure it's pulsing, but I did go ahead and check, you know, it does have continuity, but does it pulse? But it could just been of a coil wire, and whenever that thing gets hot, it could get worse, or I could probably go through and do that same check and flex and move it around and might find a break in it or something internally. Externally, I mean, it's a brand new wire, but I guess that's one of the reasons you upgrade to non-stock spark plug wires, right? All the spark plug wires are out now. I checked all of them, and they're all running about 1,900 ohms. So if the coil wire was bad, it should be significantly higher than the rest of them, not the same value, right? And spark plug wires, whenever they go bad, they tend to start misfiring and carrying on, and your car a buck and everything, especially under load. And if you lighten up the load, it'll go away, and you put load. We're not getting any of that. While not desirable, that's not our problem. So I got the cap off, looked at it. I'm not seeing anything in the cap. All right, finally got the Ramcharger to fire up. And I didn't have an ignition issue. I had no fuel issue. Yeah, well, that's an important thing to to remember when you're troubleshooting your ignition system, make sure you got fuel. So anyway, so yeah, we did find some things that do need to be addressed, and that's spark plug wires and coal. Oh, the other thing, the Blaster 2 coil does not need a ballast resistor on it if you're using electronic ignition. So that was cutting my spark down as well. So there's a lot of things that cut my spark down from having a really good spark, even if that is still way better than all those other distributors. Wow. Well, I mean, gonna air it. That was my mistake. I just overlooked fuel and fuel pump, because it's a junky old fuel pump too. So yeah, I went to check that, and it's like, man, I gotta check it. I got, like I said, I got to the fire, and it just it's like it wasn't picking up gas. I'm like, man, I got gas in the tank. I'm not out of gas. Let me just, humor myself and check that. And sure enough, that fuel line was bone dry. So yeah, I'm going to clean this mess up and get everything plugged back in the way I had it and cleaned up. All right, I got the ignition system mostly fixed. I figured out, yes, I did have a fuel problem. I got that fixed, put the fuel pump on. That is next week's video. But in doing that, I did a little more troubleshooting now that it actually fired because it had fuel. And that coil that, tested band resistance, yeah, it does the good old start up, sound real good, and then boop, turns off. And no, it's not the box. I retried that, and it also has fire to the coil and to the box, nothing being interrupted. So that is a classic coil thing. One of the things they can do is just turn off. I did go to the other shop and picked up some stuff. I picked me up another Blaster coil that says bad on it, and I checked it, and it's like the same problem. Picked up a couple ignition boxes. I got the orange one off now because I got one of the stock replacements on. Oh, here's an Excel coil that's painted red and says bad and checks bad. Oh, here's another silk. Oh, well, looks like I gotta buy a coil.